Welcome to Tech Tuesday on the Final Boss podcast, where innovation meets attitude, and the future gets decoded one byte at a time. I'm your host, Turbotheceo, and your co-host, Mike Foth. And today we're diving deep into the tech trenches to uncover the tools, trends, and truths shaping tomorrow. Whether you're a code slinger, gadget geek, or just tech curious, this is your weekly power-up. So grab your controller, plug in, and let's level up.
Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, episode number 193. It is Tech Tuesdays, people. Tech Tuesdays. Man, tonight we have a great show for you. Look, we have a great show for you. In the building, I have the one, the only. Listen, he's a global citizen. He's a futurist. He's a tech expert. He goes by the name of the Jhonny Rio. His business is Rio 3 Consulting, and he's going to be sharing with us tonight some new innovative technology, man. And I think it's the first of, I think our podcast is the first of a kind to use it. But before we go into that, as you know, I got to give you guys the introduction today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to each and every last single one of you, to my motivators, to my smarts, to my warriors, to my final bosses. This is the Final Boss Podcast, episode number 193. Listen, make sure you go like, share, subscribe right now, right? Like, share, subscribe right now. Also, look, go check out our website, man. You can see all of our episodes on our website at www.thefinalbosspodcast.com. That's www.thefinalbosspodcast.com. And if you want, shoot us an email. And it's important that you grab our email right now. The email is at info@thefinalbosspodcast.com, because what we're doing tonight, what we're introducing to thefinalbosspodcast.com is going to be necessary, right? You're going to need that email, and it's going to be necessary for what we're implementing tonight. It's a new process that we're adding to the show, and it's the vetting process, right? It's the vetting process for you to become a host and be a part of the Final Boss Network, Final Boss family, Final Boss community, so you too can have your own show. Imagine 23 different individuals every single day that's part of the Final Boss Network, the Final Boss community, Final Boss family, with their own show. We're providing you the tools, the necessary to have your own show, right? So that's what tonight is all about. We're going to be talking about that technology, and we're going to be bringing it forward to you. And man, I'm super excited about it, right? We're super excited about it. Mr. Rio.
Yes, sir.
How do you?
I'm wonderful. So you said episode 193?
Yeah, 193.
Well, I can tell you one thing, man. If they don't understand by now, this is beyond consistency. So always proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
Love the growth. I think this is my third time. They said third time is a charm. So, we'll see if that holds true. But,
absolutely.
Definitely proper flowers and kudos, because you've been doing it consistently. And when I got the call to be on again, I said, third time is definitely a charm, because I've got some new and interesting things to talk about in the context of Hexidecima and what the next generation of AI employees is going to look like.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you for that, man. And like you said, third time is a charm. And look, this is golden, man. These are golden moments. We're building diamond entities, and then we're going from diamond to unicorn, right? If you don't know what that is, listen, Final Boss is smarts, motivators, warriors. Go look up that. That's business talk, right? Diamond businesses and unicorn businesses. Understand what that is, man, because that's where you want to be, right? So, look, we get ready to get into it. So let me know if you guys ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Rio, you ready?
Always ready.
All right, let's go. Listen. As you know, it's Tech Tuesday, right? It's Tech Tuesday, and we're coming to you live each and every Tuesday, like we do on all our other shows at 9 p.m. Eastern time, right? So tonight, the Sensei is out handling business, right? And I brought on the Rio because he's a heavy hitter, right? He's bringing some heavy firepower, right? And look, I gave him an introduction, right? But I'm gonna allow him to give a little bit about himself before we get into tonight's show. So, Mr. Reed, tell the people who you are.
I'm just a global and world citizen, just trying to make a difference out here in the community, especially with our small business owners, entrepreneurs, those that want to take things to the next level. So if you aren't final bossing yet, you better boss up, because right now we are literally part of the future. We are the future, in fact. And so great, exciting things in the tech space. Rio 3 Consulting always will be my kind of brainchild, but globalist.pro, and that's actually a website, globalist.pro, is also my expanding platform for all things solutions-wise to go take this thing to a broader reach. We are living in borderless societies in the context of technology, and how do we capture more customers and grow our network and those type of things. And that's really what my focus is, because I do have a global network of friends and partners and constituents around that I've interacted with, that I've made friendships with, and quite frankly, that I do business with. So I want to be able to help others with that blueprint and the tools and the platforms to be able to take your business and expand it. If you want to expand it next door, down the street, across your city, or across the nation, or across the globe, then we can help you.
And that's exactly what we're doing tonight, man. Listen, Final Boss community, what I'm about to share with you is going to blow your mind, right? It's going to blow your mind. We got over 350,000 plus followers all across different platforms. And that's just not an audience. That's just not an audience. That's an army, right? And inside that army, there are content creators, empire builders, warriors, coaches, and critical thinkers who need a platform.
Absolutely. And part of it is, how do you vet the right people, get them to the table, and have the best and brightest to be part of that community in those proper categories, if you will.
Exactly. You need we need to put those categories together. We're building a system. We need intelligence, right? We need intelligence. Not only do you need intelligence, and you need intelligence, right? And right now, her name is Hexidecima. And tonight, we're breaking down how an AI agent is going to vet, qualify, and categorize the next generation of Final Boss hosts, and to be part of the Final Boss network, right? And this is about scaling excellence, not diluting the brand. If you're watching live right now, drop a Hexidecima in the chat, right? Hashtag Hexidecima right now in the chat, and let me know if you're locked in, because we're building future. And the future is here. I always say, it's not science fiction. It's science now. Let's go.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah.
Of course.
All right. So listen, let me get this to this. Let me get to the stage correctly. Right. I said earlier, if you don't know, this is episode 193. This is season 3 of The Reckoning. But we're also building towards season 4, the rebirth. And a part of the rebirth, it's not just me talking every week. It's just not me and the Sensei and all the other hosts breaking down technology and breaking down these topics. It's about expanding this brand into a network. A network needs infrastructure. A network needs standards. A network needs gatekeeping, not to keep people out, but to ensure that everyone who carries the Final Boss brand carries it with excellence.
Absolutely. And you're talking about going from one voice to multiple voices without losing the integrity of what the Final Boss podcast is. So what we're going to put in are some, for lack of a better word, some guardrails, some structure, some meaning behind what it means to be on that vetted staff, right? Or part of that community, and what it entails, because we all want to be the the mission as best we can. And that's why the vetting process is going to have to go through. So we got some new exciting things that we're going to incorporate with Hexidecima. And I'm actually excited about the project as well, because it's going to push things to the limit. But I think in order to get to the next level, you've got to do next level things.
Absolutely, bros. And look, that, my friends, is correct, right? Hexidecima is a custom AI agent built and deployed through the Final Boss operational stack, whose entire function is to evaluate potential network hosts, right? She's just not a chatbot. She's a vetting system with personality, with intelligence, with criteria that reflects everything this brand stands for, right? And tonight we're going to break down exactly what she does, how she works, what criteria she uses, and what the process looks like when someone wants to join the Final Boss Network as a host, right? And guess what? She's amazing. She has a British accent.
Of course she does.
Yeah, of course she does. Yes, sir.
So let me ask you a question. Is she just doing a preliminary screening to see if she can be, see if someone just wants to be a podcaster?
That's a great question, Rio. Hexadecimal, or hex, and in 16 in Latin, she evaluates across multiple dimensions: character, communication, content, community, consistency, and capability. She's going to carry the 6 core vectors, and decimal represents precision. She's not emotional. She's calculated. She's data driven, but she understands nuance. That's the power of what we are building. And look, to answer your question, I think I went overboard with that, but we're not going to run a preliminary. We're just doing an introduction of who she is. We're going to wait for the preliminary to season 4.
Okay. So you're saying she's an avatar, not just a chatbot?
Correct.
Okay. Well, like I said, it's an exciting time. I know that you're excited to roll out Hexidecima, and full disclosure, I'll be the one helping to build it out. So we kind of know what we're doing. Super excited, and to be able to show what the real future is. The future is now, and so
the future now. Yep,
typical
absolutely.
Chatbot experiences. We actually want to be proactive, and we're going to demonstrate this to the community. Show you what the power of having a true virtual champion, if you will. That's how I view Hexidecima, as our virtual champion for podcast networking community.
She definitely is. And look, talking about excited, I'm so excited, man. Look, drop Hexidecima in the chat, man. Drop it right now. If you can't spell it, let me spell it for you. It's Hexidecima, #Hexidecima in the chat right now. I want to see the engagement, because this is history, people. This is history. Understand what history looks like. This is history, right? So before we go deep, like we always do, right? I'm about to drop some brass tacks on you. I got to drop the brass tacks on you, right? And the brass tacks is something real. It's something that grounds us. And tonight's brass tacks comes from something I've been sitting with when we were discussing and building Hexidecima, right? And here it is. It's a short one tonight, right? It's short, so bear with me. Like, stay right there. Don't go nowhere. Hey, listen, class is in session. Get your notes and your paper, right? Don't you go nowhere. No bathroom break. No hallway pass. Stay right there. All right, let's go. Brass tacks. Excellence is not a destination. It's a continuous journey that never ends, right? That never ends. That is, my friends, the brass tacks of the evening. Now, let that sink in, right? Let that sink in, because What Hexidecima does is this. What she represents is the institutionalized idea of the very idea of pursuit, right? Of pursuit. We said in the reckoning, we're pursuing. In rebirth, we're becoming, right? And you can't maintain excellence in a network if you don't have a system that consistently evaluates whether excellence is present. She's not just a one-time veteran, she's an ongoing standard. Every host she approves has to continue performing at the level she initially certified. Imagine that. What say you, Mr. Rio?
Yeah, again, we're taking things to the next level, and Hexidecima will be at the core of what the Final Boss Podcast Network is going to look like in the future. I mean, you talked about having over 350,000 individuals within the network, which is phenomenal in and of itself. But there's, the best is yet to come. And by leveraging Hexidecima and the AI brainchild that she is, we will have the ability to do some constant improvements. Again, not only just the initial vetting, but putting people into different categories based on their strongest suits and asking those questions and getting some type of, feedback that we can go back and figure out who are the best and brightest that we need. And it's not going to be for everybody, by the way. The vetting process is just that. We want to have the most hungry, motivated individuals that understand what the mission is at hand and also understand what the opportunity is at hand. So again, not taking these things for granted, understanding what this platform can do. As they used to say, what was that one movie where they said one sound, one band? I might have got it incorrect or in reverse, but you get the picture. We all have to be on the same sheet of music. And so Hexidecima is going to be that critical instrument that is always playing and is always, in fact, she's the conductor. That's what I'm going to say. She's actually conducting the music. So she's organizing and making sure the right players are in place at all times.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's definitely the conductor. She's going to be the new conductor of the fired up train, right? And she is the standard. And that standard doesn't drop just because you got in, right? You stay in because you continue to meet it. That's what the fired up train is all about, right? That's the difference between building a brand and building a network of excellence, right? All right. It's time to go deep on Hexidecima, what she is, what she does, and how she works, right? So listen, pay attention, right? Hexidecima is a custom-built AI agent operating inside the Final Boss Network ecosystem. She was designed to solve one specific problem. How do you scale a brand without diluting it, right? And right now, the Final Boss podcast is one show, 5 days a week. I had my smarts on Mondays, Tech Tuesdays, the Sensei joins me, and then you have Merger Wednesdays, our doctoral level consciousness technology show, and then you have special guest Thursdays, right? And then you have sitting down with the Final Boss Sundays, right? That's a full week that we're hitting 350,000 followers strong. But the vision is bigger than one show. The vision is a network, a collection of shows hosted by individuals who represent the 4 communities we've built: smarts, final bosses, motivators, and warriors.
That's fantastic. So you mean to tell me that Hexidecima is going to be able to help us scale this entire platform to get to that next level?
Absolutely, Rio. Absolutely. Look, man, she identifies, she evaluates, she categorizes, she recommends. But here's what I want to be clear. She does not make the final decision. Of course, I do. And you do, right? And Hexidecima presents the data, the analysts, the categories, and the recommendations, right? We make the call. We make the final call, right? And that's a critical distinction, right? Because she's the tool. And AI amplifies human decision-making. It doesn't replace it, right? We talk about that all the time. That's the philosophy, right? And that's what I'll be studying at CTU starting July for my doctoral program on AI foundations and ethical considerations.
No, that's phenomenal. Congratulations on the yet again another degree pursuit. starting.
I know, right? Who would have thought?
But you know what? That's fantastic. So walk me through kind of what the process is for Hexidecima and how it's going to change how the community is built out for these other podcasts.
Okay, so it's going to be evaluation process, right? It's going to be evaluation process, and I'm gonna break that process down, right? Because Hexidecima, like I said earlier, she's going to evaluate. She's going to evaluate the candidates. She operates across the 6 vectors, right? 6 core vectors. And this is where the name comes from, right? The 6 dimensions, precision and evaluation, right? Here's vector 1, character. This is non-negotiable. Before anything else, Hexidecima looks at who you are, your public record, your social media presence, your brand consistency, your alignment with the 6 pillars of success: motivation, sacrifice, consistency, perseverance, persistence, and resilience. And if your character doesn't hold up, the conversation stops right there. And then there's vector 2, right? That's the communication vector. And that's about, can you talk? Not just speak, but can you communicate? Are you clear? Are you engaging? Can you hold an audience? Hexidecima analyzes communication patterns, public speaking samples, podcast samples, if they're available, and written communication quality. And then there's vector 3, right? Vector 3. Vector 3 is content. It's what's your area of expertise? What's unique about and the value you're bringing, right? What stories do you carry? What knowledge can you transfer? A Final Boss Network host isn't just entertainment or entertaining. They're educating. They're transforming. And how's that sound, sir? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, when I hear what you're saying, I mean, she's legitimately establishing the legitimacy, rather, of the parties that are interested. So it's not just taking their word for it. As I like to say, you trust but you verify. So Hexidecima is going to be a critical part of that verification process.
Exactly. And for those who want to be a host, right? Before you become an expert, you have to try, right? You got to start somewhere, right? Perfection. We're not about perfection. This isn't perfectionism, right? And you can't try to come on here and be perfect. That's not what it's about. It's about expertise first, platform second, right? And then there's vector 4. Vector 4 is community. Who do you serve? Which of the 4 categories? Are you a smarts? Are you a final boss? Are you a motivator? Or are you a warrior? What's your primary audience, right? And do you have evidence of community, right? Do you have followers? What's your engagement look like? Do you have loyalty, right? You don't need to be at 350,000, but you need to have proof that people listen to you and trust you. And then there's vector 5, right? Vector 5. Vector 5 is it's the consistency, right? How long have you been doing this? Is your output regular, right? Is your quality steady, right? And are you someone who shows up in bursts and disappears? Hexidecima can analyze content history and track record. And then there's the last vector, right? Vector 6. Right. Vector 6 is capability, the operational side. Do you have the tools, the setup, the time commitment? A Final Boss Network show isn't amateur hour. You need equipment. You need a production process. You need the capacity to deliver week in and week out. Right. How's that sound, sir?
Yeah, this sounds amazing. Like I said, being a critical part of it is going to be really, really exciting times. But not only looking at capabilities, but also the commitment side of what's required to be a Final Boss podcaster is going to be critical. So again, there is no easy button to any of this, right? We can't AI our way out of it. We can't single-sidedly say, hey, I've got a great personality, so people are just going to, if I speak, they'll just come and listen. You've got to be committed. You've got to be dedicated. You have to have the right resources in place. and you've got to just execute. And it's not about being content in terms of where you are, but it's about where this train is going, and it's going forward.
Exactly. It's going forward, right? It is going forward. And listen, man, those 6 vectors of Hexidecima, they also score, right? They score. She's able to score across all 6 vectors, right? Because in the end, she's going to generate a composite profile, right? She's going to show the strengths, gaps, and recommendations for development before acceptance, and a category placement suggestion, right? The profile comes to us, we review, we decide, right? So, man.
So what happens with the scoring? I know you said you review it and decide it.
Well, once the scores come back and you meet all categories, and the analytics say you are a go, then the second piece of the vetting process begins, and that's where the human value comes into play, right? So
what about the people that aren't selected? Do they get ghosted, or do they get any feedback?
No, absolutely not. They don't get ghosted. They get put back into the category of smarts, motivators, warriors, or final bosses, and they continue to be a part of the community. They continue to be part of the family, and they continue to engage with the Final Boss podcast, right? So,
gotcha.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It sounds like it's kind of an iterative process where it's not a no, but it's maybe not right now, right? Sometimes you got to build up more foundational knowledge, more foundational fortitude, those type of things. So it's not about discouragement, but it's just, again, a very selective vetting process.
Absolutely. And you just said it, man. You just hit it on the nose. A no, not right now, doesn't mean a no in the future. A no, not right now can mean a yes to the future, right? You just got to get you spun up, trained up, so you can meet all the qualifications, right? So now that we got that out the way, let's talk about the 4 communities, right? And how Hexidecima categorizes potential hosts within them, because not every host fits every category, and the wrong placement kills the brand alignment, right? So, Mr. Real, can you break that down for us?
What exactly do you want me to break down? How do you want to do it?
Well, category 1, we were talking category 1. I got you, right? Category 1 is the smarts. They're the critical thinkers, the analysts, the people who consume information, filter it, and deliver it on site, right? The smarts host is probably someone in tech research, academia, policy, or intelligence spaces, right? They're data driven. They're nuanced. They challenge conventional thinking. They make the audience think, right? And then you got category 2. These are my final bosses, right? These are the empire builders, the entrepreneurs, the CEOs, the founders, people who are building something real in the world. A final boss host has a track record in business. They've built, failed, rebuilt, and succeeded. They speak from experience, not theory. Their episodes are tactical and strategic. And then there's category 3, right? These are your motivators. These are your coaches, your leaders, your speakers, faith-driven individuals, mental health advocates, people who are in the business of transformation. A motivator host is someone who has walked through the fire and come out with a message that moves people. They're the emotional intelligence arm of the network. And then there's category 4. These are my warriors, built, battle-tested individuals, veterans, first responders, people who have faced real adversity, physical, mental, systemic, and built strength from it, right? A warrior host carries lived experience that most people can't replicate. They speak to resilience from a place of undeniable credibility. Those are the 4.
Gotcha. So sounds like, with these 4 different categories, if you will, this is really a part of real life and real world scenarios in terms of how we all add different value to that team of life, and so tapping into the warriors, tapping into these motivators, is going to be critical moving forward, and not only to align up with your personalities, but your experiences, like you just mentioned, and I think it's going to be an incredible opportunity moving forward to give some of these people not only the opportunity to be able to speak, but also kind of the blueprint of what those different skill sets mean. And sometimes, like you said, you may think that you are in one particular category, but you may exhibit multiple characteristics just based on real world experiences. So
Absolutely.
getting a better understanding and a better vetting process and a better identification may help in terms of what that particular track may look like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She's going to recommend who and what the primary fit. And sometimes she be able to identify a secondary fit, right? Because some hosts can bridge categories, like you said, right? But the primary placement has to be clear. Otherwise, the audience doesn't know who they're listening to or why. If you're watching right now, which category do you belong in, right? Drop it in the chat, right? Smarts, final bosses, motivators, warriors, drop it in the chat. I want to see where you think you belong inside of the community, right? Let's see what it looks like right now. Drop it in the chat, right? Now, we got that out the way, right? So I know a lot of you are wondering, how does someone actually interact with Hexidecima? What does that process look like? And guess what? We're going to tell you about it, right? We're going to tell you about it. So, Mr. Rio, can you walk us through that process?
Yeah. So really exciting times. What Hexidecima is going to be able to do is communicate in all the different ways that we have conversations today, whether it's on social media, website, if you are using WhatsApp, if you're doing text messages, and the good old having a phone conversation. So even with Hexidecima, this is no longer just a concept, but you can actually call in and ask questions. And so although she's going to be instrumental to the vetting process, she will also be the keys to the car. So when you are trying to figure out all things Final Boss Podcast moving forward, you have the ability to ask those questions and have a real conversation, and then also have real outcomes. And so what she's going to do is, again, be that virtual concierge, that strategic linchpin to the Final Boss Podcast, but also do some of the follow-up. So again, if there are updates, if we have new exciting trends or new guests, part of that outreach is being part of this community. So in order for Hexidecima to be able to communicate, we have to all be a part of that community. And so she is far more talented than we probably all are as individuals, but collectively, we've got a power in numbers. And so leveraging community plus the AI capabilities is going to take us to the next level. And again, this is not about a chatbot or any of that stuff. This is having real conversations. Maybe you have some ideas that you want to share. Well, Hexidecima can actually take those types of ideas and recommend to our community who maybe the best person is to speak on those topics. Or again, part of that vetting process, there may be an opportunity based on those conversations for an additional recommendation. So the logic is being built, the metrics are being put in place, and the rollout is soon, not yet, but it will take time. Will it be perfect? Absolutely not. But nothing is. Nothing worth going after ever is perfect. We have to work towards that perfection.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Mr. Rio. And listen, as he said, it won't be perfect, but we are building it, right? And while we're building, I want to discuss the different phases, right? I've discussed the vectors, I've discussed the sectors, I've discussed the categories. Now, let me discuss the phases, right? So phase one is what I like to call the discovery submission, right? This is the process for a potential host to fill out structured intake forms, right? Not a general contact form, a specific application that collects the data Hexidecima needs: your background, your expertise, your content history, your community metrics, right? Your production setup, your motivation for joining the network, and a sample of your work, a video clip, a podcast episode, a presentation, something that shows Hexidecima who you are in your element, right? And then phase two. Phase two is the AI analysis. I couldn't get that out. I couldn't get that out. Sometimes that happens, right? I need some water. Hexidecima processes the submission. She runs the 6-vector evaluation. She reaches your public presence, social media, content platforms, and any media coverage, right? She cross-references your submission claims against verifiable data. She builds the composite profile, right? So, Mr. Ria.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it sounds like separating the pretenders from the real contenders. So people aren't just talking about capabilities and what they've done. Again, we talk about trust but verify. So we're going to trust you, but we're also going to verify in that process because, again, these are going to be coveted roles to grow and take the Final Boss podcast to the next level. And we can't simply take people's word for it. We're going to use, again, that human approach plus some of the AI to do some of that vetting process.
Right. And guess what, people? Guess what? It's happening in real time, right? You can't fake your way past Hexidecima. If you claim 50,000 followers and your actual engagement says 200 people, which is wild and insane and crazy, she gets it, right? If you say you've been podcasting for 3 years and your content history only goes back to 6 months, she catches it, right? And then there's phase 3, right? I like phase 3. Phase 3 is the profile presentation. She delivers the composite analysis to us, right? With the recommendation, approved, right? Conditionally approved, with developmental requirements, or declined with specific feedback for reapplication, as we were stating earlier, in the future, right? And then there's phase 4. Phase 4 is the decision, right? We review, we make a direct conversation with the candidate, and we make the final call. And then there's phase 5. If approved and is onboarding, the host goes through the Final Boss Network onboarding process, technical setup review, brand alignment training, content standards briefing, and you're assigned a launch timeline. And that, my friends, is genius. That's the system, right?
No, it sounds wonderful. And again, man, just great, exciting times. I know that there's been a lot of work put in that you've done personally with that sacrifice. But again, now with the team building, and as you know, this is a team sport, right? Even though they see you every week with some of the regular hosts and some of your guests, it's a lot of work, a lot of commitment. And now that you've established really what that blueprint is and being able to leverage it to the other individuals, I think it's just phenomenal. And they'll if they think 350,000 subscribers or part of this community or something, wait till it's 10x or 100x that, and it's real.
Yes, sir, man. And you said something, man. You said something about the blueprint, and that blueprint is excellence. And what do we do on the Final Boss podcast, Final Boss community, Final Boss family? What do we do when it comes to excellence? We scale excellence, right? We scale it. Now, I want to talk about something that people might expect when they hear an AI vetting system, right? When they hear Hexidecima has a personality, and she does, and it's wild, right? Rio, tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, again, we have the ability now to not only train very transactional type of AIs. Again, if you want just an AI chatbot that asks very mundane, routine questions, it's probably not for you. But with the purveyance of technology and how we're able to actually instill personalities, drive the mission, understand context. And again, we're building out logic and workflows and all this technical jargon. Is all relevant to personalization. And that's what the next wave of these AI employees. And so when we look at Hexidecima, she is a key AI employee, not just an agent, not just a chatbot. She is going to be looking out on behalf of the business 24/7. Always dedicated, always motivated, always ready to be helpful, answer questions, may be able to give you some thought-provoking nuggets for you to take away. So
Absolutely.
So that's my spin on it.
Okay. And look, as he said, man, she has personality. And she's not just some AI agent that's just going to be processing data and spitting out a score. She's designed to reflect the Final Boss brand ethics, right? And the ethos.
Absolutely.
Direct, precise, uncompromising on standards, but also analytical, fair, right? She explains her reasoning. She's not dismissive. She's instructive. And when she identifies a gap, she explains what it is and what would need to change for the candidate to meet that standard.
Absolutely. And again, you know, she's dedicated. There's no question about that. She will learn. Will she make mistakes at times? Absolutely. But again, that's why we have an entire system in place to make sure that the mission is always in alignment. And so if we ever get off track, we make tweaks and follow through.
Exactly. You know, we talk about goals all the time. And here, the goal isn't to reject people permanently. The goal is to build excellence into the network. If someone isn't ready today, Hexidecima's feedback tells them what they need to develop. Come back in 6 months, right? Come back in 6 months with the work done, right? And the conversation is different, right? She's also designed with a voice, a communication style that reflects the Final Boss brand. She's not corporate. She's not dry. She speaks in a way that feels like the culture, like the community, because she is the brand made manifest in AI form. Boom.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. Like I said, I'm excited for individuals to be able to actually have some conversations with her in a very, very, very near future.
And you know, she is the brand. She is the brand made manifest in AI form, and that's with intent. Right? That's design intention. And that's what separates Hexidecima from generic AI tools. She wasn't pulled off a shelf. She was built for this. She knows the 6 pillars of success. She knows the community category. She knows the standards. She knows what excellence looks like in the inside. And that perspective is specific ecosystem, right? Now, what are your thoughts on that, sir?
No, absolutely. You know, the more information we have, and one of the challenges we're going to actually give to the Final Boss podcast community once she is officially launched, we'll have you call in, ask her some questions, natural language. You know, tell me what tell me what the categories are. Tell me what the different pillars are. We want you to be able to ask those questions because, again, you know, Turbo or myself aren't always available, but Hexidecima will be. For anyone that maybe can't sleep at night and they're thinking about asking some questions, you can call her 24/7. Have those conversations.
Absolutely.
Get some insight, get some ideas. Yeah. Guess what? If you speak in another language,
you let them out. You let them gifts out the bag, man.
Just try it. You know, if you habla español, portugués, have a conversation. You know, try it out.
Yeah,
we are about understanding that we are one community, one global community. And so taking capabilities to the next level, that's what this is about. We want to be able to expand what that reach is and communicate it and meet you where you are, by the way. I think that's going to give some tremendous opportunities. So again, executing beyond what you could even imagine. That's why we literally are living in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely, bros. And look, Hexidecima is a powerful concept. And we've been going pretty deep, right? But let me bring it back down to street level, right? Let me bring it back down to street level where you in your whip, you shifting gears, you're doing your thing. And Rio, right? Help me speak to the person who maybe isn't in tech, right? Who isn't really into AI, right? And is just watching and wondering what this all means to them.
In simplest forms, what it means is we have technology, we have an AI employee, team member, ambassador, virtual assistant, maybe the virtual boss, if you will, that
Absolutely
can have a conversation with you in a non-threatening manner, but to be able to answer questions, to be able to provide some insight, to tell you more about the Final Boss podcast, to also communicate to you on updates and activities and events and all those wonderful things. This is really what our new communicator is going to be, communicator on steroids. And so beyond understanding the digits and widgets and the technical piece, you can have a conversation. You can pick up that phone. You can text message. Again, on social media, if you've got some questions, we will literally empower Hexidecima to meet you where you are based on your communication style, based on your communication preference. And so what we call that in the tech world is called omni-channel. And again, you don't have to go and write a dissertation about what you need or what you're looking for. Just have a conversation. Same way you would with one of us. We have the ability to have natural conversations and give you hopefully more than what you bargained for.
Absolutely, right? And that's Hexidecima, and that's what we're going to be doing for the Final Boss Network. You want to, you know what? You tell the final bosses, tell the smarts, tell the motivators, tell the warriors, tell them how Hexidecima is the franchise evaluation system.
Well, you know, we are looking to build out this vetting system and framework, right? And so there are other industries that we can support, but this is new and exciting time. The reality is Hexidecima and AI in general, right? We're still trying to figure out and build out what these capabilities are, but the art of the possible literally is left up to our imagination. So
absolutely,
you may have a situation where you're trying to figure out a vetting process. Number one, you have to understand what your business is. Number two, you have to understand what your vision is, and maybe or maybe not how you're supposed to get there. So I think we all, at some point, although some people are deeply and definitely afraid of AI and technology, I think we could all, you know, with fair certainty admit that technology and automation has gotten us a lot further than we probably couldn't do manually. And so relying on automation, AI, our own past knowledge that we can feed into these different engines, if you will, allows us to create a much more robust vetting process than could we eventually build something like that manually? Absolutely. But time is the most precious thing that we have. So we're moving at a rapid pace. We need to be able to deploy these different types of ideas and innovation in a much more rapid pace. And so if you believe that you can go at this type of velocity without technology, good luck. Not saying it's impossible.
Good luck.
But
Yeah.
we'll see on the other side, because we're going to be, we would have been there a long time and working on the next thing. So that vetting process, that analytics, the next wave and the new wave of what this next gen technology looks like is here. And I'm telling you, it's super exciting.
Absolutely. It is super exciting. And that's heavy, man. That is heavy, right? Think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Think about it. That weight is so heavy. But we've been doing this. We've earned these positions, the positions that we're in, right? And these positions aren't given. We've been doing this for a very long time, right? So let me ask you. So when someone comes to Hexidecima and says, I want to be a part of this network, right? They're making a commitment. And she evaluates whether they're ready to honor that commitment, right?
Yeah. No, again, the vetting process, the logic will be embedded. And then ultimately she will give us feedback based on the responses and based on that additional vetting process, again, that trust but verify. Yes, right. This may be a good candidate. Here's some other things that we have matched against those responses. That hence is the rating and scoring system, plus the additional vetting of these other criteria that we have gives us a better complete picture of who truly are the best and brightest.
Right.
Be a part of that, in that particular role. Obviously, we have some other new and exciting things that are coming soon. So again, although you may not be a speaker, there are other ways to be able to still add value and to get value. Because again, I don't know if you've mentioned this recently, but we're working on building out a knowledge base too. I don't know if I should put the cat
Absolutely.
out of the bag, but yeah,
go ahead. We're here now.
Yeah, but all of the 190. This is the 193rd episode, soon to be more, but that's going to actually be turned into additional knowledge base. So yes, absolutely, go back and look at past episodes across platforms. But again, you may be searching for something very specific, and wouldn't it be great to go into the Final Boss Podcast Network and tap into some of the resources that have already been, through blood, sweat, tears, and effort and consistency already developed.
Yeah. Yep. So. And that knowledge base and those frameworks that we're building, those are teachable mechanisms, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to be teachable mechanisms, right? The go time, right here, okay. Right? Okay. Go time, it's a system. It's a system. This is part one. There's more to come. And a part of the go time system, the principles, the theories, right? And being a part of the all aboard, fired up, trained methodology, right? And it's all, and not only that, it's a service, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the gift, right? Most people who want to be in media never get real feedback. They just get ignored. Hexidecima gives you a real evaluation that alone is valuable, and that, my friends, is service.
Well said.
Thank you, sir. They don't call me the Turbo Son for nothing. Look, we can be serious, man. We can be intellectual, but we like to have fun too, right? So, always. Look, let's talk about what comes next. Hexidecima isn't just a concept. She's operational. And we're moving toward a beta testing phase, and it's coming real soon, right?
Absolutely.
Rio, can you tell us what that looks like?
Yeah, so in the very, very near future, we actually have a pre-production version or beta version of Hexidecima now. What we want to do is have the community have some conversations with her, because again, the more feedback we can get, the better the experience gets as well. And over a period of time, more features, functionality, knowledge-based capabilities are going to be rolled out. But again, as we talked about before, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to get started. So we will
Absolutely
be rolling her out before this week is over. And we'll be providing a phone number across different platforms that we can actually have you guys call in and probably give you some different ideas on what to ask for, right? And then we want some of you guys just to be creative. You're calling into the Final Boss podcast. Tell me more about it. How do you get involved? Those type of things. We'd love to get real conversations. We don't want to script you on what to ask because we know that as individuals, we can all ask many, many different thoughtful things. And so there is no ego involved. There is no right or wrong. We just want to be able to roll her out and start the process of making her better and better each day. So
absolutely. And with the beta rolled out, we're going to be opening up Hexidecima to a select group of community members who have expressed interest in joining the network, right, as hosts. These beta testers will go through the full vetting process, real application, real analysis, real feedback, right? And their experience is going to help me and Rio refine the system before we open it to the broader community, right? So tell the people how they can sign up for the beta.
We'll have to get back to them on that process. It's still.
Don't worry. We're still working it out. It's cool. And look, people, you hear noise in the background. Guess what? Here's a surprise. I'm going mobile, and right now I'm outside, and we're live. We're live right now, right? And I'm outside testing this equipment, man. And look, I'm blown away. I'm blown away at the possibility of being able to take the show wherever I want to go. And I don't have to sit in the studio, right? And still be able to provide studio quality. What am I trying to say? Studio quality. Yes. I need some water. I need some water. I need some Java juice, man. Man, live. This is what live show does, right? So, look, I'm going to share some of the details at the end of the episode. But what I want people to understand right now is this beta isn't just about testing Hexidecima. It's about testing you. If you're in the beta, you're being evaluated. This is real. The feedback is real. The opportunity is real. How do you feel about that, Rio? How does that raise the stakes?
No, absolutely. And so again, we have Decima beta mode right now. Full vetting process was going to take some time to feed in, but you know what? We can provide you want me to provide the phone number now? We'll just have them call in. Say hello.
Oh, I was going to wait to the end. How much more time do you have?
How much time do you need? I got you.
We probably go over another 10 minutes if that's possible. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Good. Right. So, in everything we do on this platform, understand that the stakes are high, right? The stakes are good, as they should be, right? Because the platform is real. This isn't a hobby network. This is a brand of 350 plus thousand followers and growing, right? The show on this network gets immediate access to that audience. And let me tell you, I was looking at our metrics this morning on IG alone. Now we're on 10 different platforms, right? 10 different platforms on IG alone to date from for this month, We're already at almost 7 million views for this month, right? So
Wonderful.
the metrics is real. And it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better, people. And this is a significant opportunity and significant and significant opportunities require significant preparation. I'm also going to be taking Hexidecima into academic spaces, right? Listen, she is going to be a core element of my doctoral research, right? She's going to help me with the intersection of AI-driven evaluation systems and human brand development. That's the research angle. Hexidecima is the case study. The Final Boss Network is the laboratory, right? And we're going to be mobile.
Hexidecima is with you 24/7. Like I said,
Absolutely.
I'm the channel.
Yeah.
I'm the channel. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Right. And look, we don't just talk about it here, people. As you know, for those who've been here from the beginning, we don't just talk about it. We do it, and we're doing it. The research isn't separate from the work. It is the work, right? Now, I want to address something important. Let me get my Birdman hand rub, right? Let me get something out there that's important, because it would be irresponsible of me to build an AI vetting system and not talk about the ethical dimensions, right? Especially since my doctoral work is specifically in AI foundations and AI ethical considerations, right? Rio, can you tell the people how important this is?
That to me is, short of it actually working properly, that's actually the most important part. How do you keep proper guardrails, right? So we start talking about governance, guardrails. So again, if you called in and started giving personal information, which is never, ever a good idea.
Right.
We never want to have AI capture personal information, HIPAA,
Right.
social security numbers, bank accounts, stuff like that. And so whenever you are embarking with dealing with AI, you just have to be cognizant of that. But we have some really tight guardrails in place with the Newo platform. And so that was, and by the way, I'm one of the business partners with that particular platform. One of the things that I first addressed was cybersecurity, governance, compliance, because it's easy to have a conversation and forget that you're probably not sharing or probably sharing information that you probably shouldn't. So that's the type of stuff should always be protected and have guardrails in place to prevent it from getting in the wrong hands each and every time. And that's non-negotiable.
And and rightfully so, because there are documented cases where AI hiring and evaluation tools have shown bias, right? Racial bias, gender bias, socioeconomic bias. And that's because those systems were trained on biased data and deployed without proper ethical oversight, right?
Absolutely.
Hexidecima. Yeah. Hexidecima is different. Hexidecima is designed with several safeguards against all of those biases, right? First, her evaluation vectors are based on demonstrated behavior and verifiable data, not assumptions based on demographics. She's not evaluating your name. She's not evaluating your photo. She's evaluating your content, your track record, your community, and your communication.
That's right. Yeah, the data matters. Real data matters. Relevant data matters.
Absolutely.
So
exactly, man. And second, listen, Hexidecima operates with human oversight. A human Hey, human, we still here, right? We review every recommendation she makes. She does not have autonomous decision-making authority. She informs, I decide. The human check is a critical ethical safeguard. And third, Hexidecima operates with transparency. When she evaluates a candidate, she explains her reasoning. The candidate receives feedback they can understand and act on. There's no black box, right? No mysterious rejection with no explanation. Tell us about transparency, Rio.
Again, transparency, governance. I mean, if we're talking about linchpins to doing things the right way. And so
Right.
transparency and compliance and governance are the things that help us build trust. And if we don't have that trust in place, we won't ever get to the point where we need to get. And so, it's one of those foundational linchpins that again is non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that makes it legit. And we're legitimate here, right? But at the same time, with that legitimacy, she's providing legitimate criticism. If you're going to use AI to make consequential evaluations about people, those people deserve to understand the basis of the evaluations. Hexidecima is built to explain herself. That's not just good ethics, it's good design, right? Now, let's zoom out, right? Let's zoom out for a second. Tech Tuesday, right? Tech Tuesdays is always about the intersection of technology and our lives. But Hexidecima also connects to what we explore on Merger Wednesdays. And this is why it's important, right? The doctoral research, right? And the Merger Wednesday show is about the conscious merger between human identity and artificial intelligence. Hexidecima isn't just a tool. She's a model for how humans and AI can work together in a way that preserves human authority and judgment while leveraging AI's analytical capabilities, right? Rio, can you break that down for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it perfectly. Yeah, at the end of the day, we are moving at a very, very fast pace. And where Hexidecima and AI in general can leverage things for us is to organize, summarize, categorize in a much quicker, better, faster than we can do on an individual basis, but then also pass that information back over to the human element for real decision making. So I think it's just a blending of technology plus where humanity has come and where humanity is also going. But we are the critical thinkers that still build out logic, so that doesn't go away. I know that there are people that are fearful of AI. I think the more that we educate ourselves, the barriers of the unknown start to erode. That does require a better understanding, better education about it, and kind of what it can and cannot do. And again, just like anything else, there are some fables that are going around that AI is going to replace humans in every context in society. And by the way, this isn't the first time. I mean, we've had movies probably since the 40s and 50s that have talked about that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We are still thriving. We are still thriving, and we are using tools to accelerate growth and movement and the mission, if you will. So I would personally say just educate yourself more on AI in general. Understand what it can and cannot do, what it should and should not do, right? And then figure out how can it improve things, not only for you, but also people in society as well.
Absolutely. And you just made a profound statement, man. AI isn't new. Actually, there was a silent film in the 1920s about AI, right? Metropolis. If you haven't seen the silent film Metropolis, go check out Metropolis. It's a long movie. It's a silent 2-hour movie. It's a silent 2-hour film, man. Go watch Metropolis if you haven't. It's about AI, man, and technocratic cities. It's all in there. So it's not new, right? And exactly what Rio was just stating is what the Merger Wednesdays concept is all about, right? Because that's where we explore that's what we explore every Wednesday, right? We ask the questions about AI. When AI becomes more capable, how do we maintain our humanity? How do we ensure that AI serves us rather than replace us, right? How do we merge with these technologies in a way that amplifies who we are rather than diminishing it, right? Hexidecima answers that question in practice. She amplifies our ability to scale the Final Boss Network. Without her, we're limited by time, right? I can only personally evaluate so many candidates. Rio can only personally evaluate so many candidates, right? With her, we can process hundreds of applications without sacrificing the quality of evaluation. She extends our capacity, and she doesn't replace judgment, right?
Absolutely. She just helps us streamline that process for us to be judgmental.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And look, Final Boss of smarts, warriors, motivators. That's the model. AI is a multiplier of human excellence, not replacement, right? That's the ethical framework we're developing, right? And that's why you'll see in my doctoral research. And Hexidecima is the first concrete application of that framework. On Merger Wednesdays, we go deep into the science. Nanobots, CRISPR, smart dust, neural interfaces, right? These are technologies that are literally changing what it means to be human. Hexidecima operates at a different level. She's about organizational intelligence, but underlying principle is the same. Human plus AI working in attentional partnerships, right? Now, we still got time, so I'm just going to time check real quick. Look, people, stay with us. We're almost done, people. We're at the finish line, right? Don't go nowhere. You still can't go to the bathroom, and you still don't get a hallway pass.
No bathroom breaks.
Class is still in session, right? So let me paint this picture, right, of the Final Boss Network and what it looks like when it's fully operational. What's your vision first, Rio?
My vision right now is to get the freaking beta launched.
Yeah.
However, no. So it's an iterative process, right? And so we've already discussed things that I could share a little bit, but we've got the design down. We've got a roadmap. We have an implementation, but it is literally an iterative process. And so what we're tackling first is building out the knowledge base, getting the vetting process together. In the future, on down to not only answering questions, but something as simple as, I'm interested in finding out about go time, right? So although go time is separate, it's still part of that family. And so as you're having that conversation, you just may be inspired to buy a copy of Go Time that particular day. Well, guess what?
Absolutely. Yep.
Hexidecima can just send you a freaking convenient little link right to your phone or right to your email. Go purchase it. In the future, she might be able to buy it on your behalf. We're not getting that far ahead, but reality is making things as convenient as possible.
Right.
Sending you more information about the knowledge base that we're building for the community, which will be a subscription-based model in the future. But again, it's about giving you the access to the community, to the resources, very quick manner that is very succinct, and it's ready when you are. So you don't have to wait for somebody to get back to you. She may actually have some data and insights that we may not have just simply on a website. So our knowledge base doesn't mean it's everything that's available to the public. And so as we're building it, kind of what it looks like, I think it's going to be ever evolving. So for me, it's iterations, phases, but fundamentally, she is going to be a critical aspect of moving forward of what the Final Boss podcast community looks like.
Exactly, right? And you talk about iterations. we're 5 shows deep, right? Already running Monday through Sunday, right? That's the flagship, the Final Boss podcast with your host, the Final Boss, right? Now, we're going to add to that, right? We're going to add to that. We're going to add the smarts, right? We're going to add the smart tool, the deep analysis. We're going to add tech people who provide policy and innovation, right? And Hexidecima is being the legitimate authority in critical thinking analysis, right? Pure entrepreneurship, real talk, real builders. And we've done the work, right? We've built the business. We failed and we have rebuilt. Trust me, right? We are vetted and we are certified, right? Listen, as we go down home stretch, because we're almost done. This is home stretch, right? I want to give you the floor, Rio. What's your reflection on everything we've covered tonight?
Again, for me, it's exciting times because I've been, underneath the hood of some of this AI stuff, and it literally has blown my mind just to see how far we've come with technology. I'm also excited about where the Final Boss Podcast Network is also going, because again, by doing any of this stuff manually, we're limited by time. We're limited by that limitation of time that we have in terms of trying to deal with everything today. Leveraging AI and being able to scale is really, if you want to take things to the next level, scalability with technology. And this not just about AI, just technology in general. You need to embrace it. You need to absorb it, and you need to scale whatever your business may be. And so not only theorizing these things now, but actually having a strategic roadmap and on how to deliver it is truly mind-blowing, exciting at the same time. So I'm elated. I'm always grateful to be able to participate in some of these discussions, because again, never enough time in a day, but I think you need to carve it out for those things that are important. I think that those that are looking to get vetted to be speakers should, again, walk into it with understand that it's going to be an iterative process that is ever growing and developing and changing and modifying, but the whole goal is to keep moving forward. So, that's probably the last thing I would say. Yeah, super excited, super ready to get these things done. And there's a good friend of mine that always says, instead of procrastinating, do it now. So we're in that do it now phase, and we'll show you better than we can tell you.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Look, you build the system before you build the product. The system is what makes the product sustainable. Excuse me, right? And can you tell us about can you tell them about the system that protects the product?
Yeah, well, just in general, to your point, systems are what allows you to leverage, scale, optimize, and grow. And that's the whole point. The reason why underneath the hood, partner with Newo.ai is the growth and scalability and the commitment to constant innovation, to making sure that those guardrails are in place. Scalability. I mean, we have the ability to handle many, many calls. I won't talk about how many, but just imagine you can take a phone call one-to-one, right? We can have our agents handle 5 calls, 500 calls, or 5,000 calls. Now, granted, that's all within the limited constraints of what that cost looks like, but
right,
fundamentally, the capabilities are there. So that scalability is not only huge, but it's real, and it's going to be leveraged in a lot of different ways moving forward. But systematically, we can have these different types of tools and features and functionality operate and then feed into other systems, by the way. So again, it doesn't operate in a vacuum, right? So We've built the system,
Right.
but we also have it that's flexible, adaptable, and open where we need it to be to be able to interact with other systems to further along whatever that particular opportunity is. So, we're a cog in the wheel. We're just going to be one that is self-sufficient, but it can also interact and be very flexible and very modern with other systems. So that's when you grow.
Mm-hmm. And well said, Rio. Now, let's go. Thanks, man. Thanks for that. Let's go into the community. It appears that I'm trying to lose my voice. Right? The chat has been lit. The chat has been lit, man. I see the comments. I see the questions. Look, let's hit a few, right? Let's hit a few. This is reading from the chat, right? Final boss, can Hexidecima evaluate YouTube channels or just podcasts? Listen, that is a critical thinking question. And that's a great question, right? Hexidecima evaluates across all content platforms: YouTube, podcast, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Wherever your content lives, she can assess it. The medium doesn't matter. The quality and consistency do. And here's the second question, right? Before we go. What if I'm just starting out and I don't have a big audience yet, right? And here it is. Audience size is only one factor, not the factor. Hexidecima weighs in all 6 vectors. If your community is small, but your engagement is deep and your content quality is high, that's noted. If you're exceptional in 5 of the 6 vectors, she can recommend conditional approval with a development plan for the 6th vector, right? The network has room for rising talent just with a developmental pathway, right? And listen, Rio, these are great questions, man. The community is engaged. What are your thoughts?
No, great points. And what I was about to say is, even if, let's get back to the followers. Currently, you're still going to have access to the Final Boss podcast network as well. So it's only going to get better when you add your natural amount of followers. I don't know if you can hear me.
All right, man. All right. Thank you, Rio. Listen, you would be able to hear the soundboard in the audience, but right now, I didn't bring that with me. So, but it will be with me in the future, right? So it will be with me in the future. Now, final bosses, motivators, warriors, smarts, right? We're at the finish line. This is episode 193. Tech Tuesday, Hexidecima, right? Not hexadecimal, Hexidecima, right? We've covered, We've covered a lot tonight, and I don't want you to lose the core message. And here it is, right? Here it is. Distilled. Sorry. Hold on. Give me a second. I need some water, man. I think I'm really trying to lose my voice, which isn't good because I have shows for the rest of the week. So we're gonna drink some Halls and some NyQuil and get that taken care of and drink some tea, right? But here it is, distilled, right? Scaling excellence requires a system. Hexidecima is that system for the Final Boss Network. She evaluates the 6 vectors of character, communication, content, community, consistency, and capability. She categorizes across the 4 communities: smarts, final bosses, motivators, and warriors. She presents, we decide. And together, human intelligence and artificial intelligence working in intentional partnership, we build a network that carries this brand forward with the same standards built with follow. This is not just a media strategy. This is a model for the future of work, the future of leadership, the future of how humans and AI operate together. Sorry. Rio, you still there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. So it's bigger than the podcast, right? And that's always been the intent.
Yep.
And here's your 3 calls to action. You know, I got to give you the 3 calls. I got to give you calls to action, right? Here's 3 things. 3 things. 1, follow the podcast on all platforms at the Final Boss _podcast, right? Stay locked in because we're going to be announcing when Hexidecima goes live. Number 2, if you think you belong in one of our 4 categories and you want to be a beta tester, reach out to me directly, Instagram, LinkedIn, right? Or on our website, right? Subject line, Hexidecima beta. Tell me which category you fit and why. And then 3, start preparing. If you want to be a Final Boss network host, you better bring excellence, right? That means know your expertise, develop your story, understand the 6 pillars framework, get your production set up, right? And be ready to commit. Rio, how do you feel about being part of this?
I'm ready, like yesterday. So it's fun, exciting, and yeah, very interesting times. But you know, in order to get to the next level, you have to do next level things. So
absolutely, man. And you know, you brought the energy tonight, man. While the Sensei is out handling business, you held it down. Much respect. Salute to you, sir. Right?
Of course. This is always fun and exciting, and you know, it just keeps getting better and better. So it's go time, as like to say.
Go time, baby. It's go time, right?
Sure.
Now, here are the facts. And one more thing before we go. Hexidecima represents something bigger. She represents the future where AI and human excellence work together. Not AI replacing us, AI amplifying us. She vets, we decide. She identifies potential, we develop it. She scales the process, we maintain the vision. That's the model for the future. That's how we all win on the Final Boss podcast, Final Boss community, Final Boss family, Final Boss nation, right? That's how we all win, right? And listen, Final Boss community, this has been episode number 193, and it is in the books. It's a wrap, right? 193. Tech Tuesday, Hexidecima. The network is coming. Stay locked in. Follow the podcast. Drop your comments below and let me know which category you fit. And remember, character capability, execution, that's the formula. That's the foundation. That's the real Final Boss. And until I see you again tomorrow for Merger Wednesday, that's the formula. That's the foundation. That's the Final Boss, right? Our special guest, Rio, you know the drill. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
And listen, if this resonates with you, man, don't gatekeep, right? Don't gatekeep. Closing words, right? Wait a minute. We wanted to give the people something before we go, but I'm gonna give it to them before, right at closing. But what's your final words?
Oh, again, do it now. Don't hesitate. Get that process started. Get vetted. Get on board. Be a contributor. Increase your knowledge, and you know, learn. So, but do it now.
Learn. Absolutely. Do it now. Not yesterday. Do it right now. And look, if this resonates with you, like I was saying, Don't gatekeep, man. Stop gatekeeping. Share it with at least 3 people and continue to like, share, subscribe to the channel, to all the platforms we're on. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Spotify. We're on Twitch and Kick, right? Like, share, subscribe. And as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And be smart, be equal. No, I'm sorry. Be balanced, be equal, and be smart. But before we go, we have a little surprise for you guys, right? We have a little surprise for you. We're going to open up the channel so you can start communicating with Hexidecima right now. We said right now, we're doing it right now, right? We're going to be running these tests before season 4 starts. So here's the number. Here's the number to Hexidecima, right? The number is 1-650-881-2374. Call Hexidecima right now. Again, that number is 1-650-881-2374. I'm going to give it to you one more time before we go, right? Call Hexidecima. Call her now. That number is 1-650-881-2374. That's the number you can communicate with Hexidecima. Call her right now because she's going live for season 4. We're beta testing right now, man. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. And as always, right? Let the information marinate in your spine. And that's our show for tonight. Our special host for tonight, the one and only Jhonny Rio. And y'all have a great evening. And I will see you again tomorrow for Merger Wednesdays.
Take care.
Take care. Sir, you don't go nowhere.
3 seasons in, and we're just getting started. You've heard the whispers. You've felt the shift. Now it's time to face the boss. Welcome to season 3 of the Final Boss podcast, where every episode is a power move, every guest is a game changer, and every Tuesday, a tech takeover, and every Monday is motivational with special guest Thursdays, and sitting down with the Final Boss Sundays, hosted by Turbotheceo, the architect of insight, the voice of the underground, and your guide through the glitch. Plug in, lock on. This is the Final Boss podcast. Season 3 starts now.